You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women. Whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. Today we're going to be going over a very interesting topic, one that I think applies to a lot of different guys out there depending on what situation they're in. We're talking about obsession, obsessing over someone, the unhealthy obsession over a woman. So maybe you're in a situation where you got broken up with and you're still obsessed with your ex. Maybe you're currently in a relationship and you seem to be obsessed over your current girlfriend. And probably in most cases, I'd imagine people listening are having a girl that they're obsessed with that has either put them in the friend zone or rejected them altogether, and they still keep on obsessing. Whatever the situation is, I want to go over what's going on here, why this is happening, and how to stop. How do you stop doing it? What are the steps to get over obsessing over one girl? And I bet you, I can just guarantee it, that if you obsess or if you are obsessing over someone right now, that means you've probably done it in the past too. So maybe it's a potential pattern that exists in your love and dating life. And there might be some deeper psychological things going on there too. And I can give you some recommendations on what to do there. So we'll get into that today. I just want to let you know, per usual, what I've been announcing for the past few months about coaching. Coaching is available by me. That's right. You and I can be doing some coaching together. And I have various options for us. Some are actually in person. Some are over the phone. There's all kinds of options that definitely will work for you no matter what situation you're in. So if you're trying to learn how to meet women in person, well, usually most guys are. I know there's a lot of guys who still do online dating, and online dating is very popular right now, although I know it's also struggle for a lot of guys because it's so oversaturated. So I don't help with online dating. I don't, because I don't really believe in online dating as the key resource you need to be investing your time in. I do think online dating is something you should be doing. You should be on an app or a dating site, but you should be spending and investing most of your time in meeting women in person because it's going to be better for your skill set. And I help with that. That's what coaching is all about. So we can get on the phone, we can discuss it, see if it's a good fit for you. If you're interested, go to coachedbytrip.com. The applications come in every single day. So just so you know, I do read every single application. There's not one that I don't read. Your words will be read by me. However, I don't accept everyone because you got to be 18 or older. And also, you got to fill it out so I really understand what's going on. You know, people who put just a couple of words on your application doesn't show me you're serious. And so therefore, I can't pick you to potentially do coaching. So go to coachedbytrip.com and apply today and see if you and I can get on the phone and see if it's a good fit for you. All right? Cool. Let's get into today's topic. How to stop obsessing over someone. Why are you obsessing over someone? What's going on? What's going on in that head of yours? Well, it's possible, and I know that this is something that exists, especially when you're younger. You know, you obsess over a girl mainly because you don't have a lot of experience with women. So, you know, something I talk about in the podcast is this idea of abundance mentality, right? You are in more of an abundant mindset, meaning you have lots of women available to you. Therefore, you don't get crushed if one doesn't work out, or you don't obsess over someone. If you're getting, let's say, multiple beautiful women texting you, let's say you have 100 women. I call this the high status filter. You have 100 different women who are texting you as an example, right? It's like, just pretend that that's happening. Would you be obsessing over one? Probably not, because you'd have so many options. But a lot of guys, they end up obsessing over one woman because they don't really understand the potential of other women that are available to them. I dive so deep into this, by the way, this concept of abundance mentality in my book, Magnetic. So I don't know if you have that or not. You can go to Amazon and get it. It's like $10 on paperback and $10 on audiobook. It's also available on Kindle too. Anyways, I would go check that out if you want to get a deeper understanding of abundance mentality and then how to get over the scarce mindset and step into the abundant mindset. That's going to really help you a lot with obsession. But of course, we're going to go over some things today. But as I'm saying here, you don't have an abundance of women. So you're obsessed with one woman and you don't really understand what it's like to maybe have a girlfriend, or maybe you're a virgin. You just have a lack of women in your life, but you've always had a lack of women in your life and you don't have a lot of experience. Therefore, it's so much easier to obsess over someone. That's why I think it happens a lot when we're kids. At least I think that's one of the reasons. Like I had obsessions over some women when I was in high school. Remember, there's this one girl in high school who I don't even know how, somehow I attracted her. She was interested in me. Of course, I understand now how it all happened. But at that moment, I was like, I don't know why she likes me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just talking to her and being just normal and nice. And in that, that time in my life, I thought I was a big nerd. I didn't think that having a beautiful woman was possible for me. And she was one of those more popular girls. So I was so excited, as a kid, I was so excited to have this, pretty popular girl interested in me, but she was only interested for 2 weeks. Of course, what did that do? That got me so excited at this idea of, oh, this girl liked me. So therefore, maybe I can get her to like me again, but she was only interested for 2 weeks. And then after that, I was just in the friend zone. I became obsessed with her. And the only way for me to get over obsessing her was to move on and find another woman, which does help. But then I obsessed over that one because that was another girl who ended up becoming my girlfriend at the time. And I lost my virginity to her. So that was a whole other thing. But either way, I'm going to give you a more healthy way of stopping to obsess over someone. I don't think jumping from woman to woman is the idea. It's just going from one drug to the other, right? Like as an addiction. But my thoughts here is that's some of the reasons why you might be obsessing over a girl. And also, I want to kind of nail it down to two separate concepts here. I believe that you're obsessed with a woman because of two reasons. One, because of her looks, and also how she makes you feel. Okay, I think those are the two bare bone reasons why. Of course, like I said, you probably also have a lack of abundance, meaning you don't have a lot of women in your life, meaning you have what's called scarce mindset. There are no other women available to you. That's what you think. It's absolutely not true, but that's your mindset. But I really think it comes down to you meet a woman and you end up obsessing about her because she's very attractive to you. You're very attracted to her. And of course, as a man, we are taken away by a woman's beauty. Her beauty is important to us. We are so attracted to a woman because of how she looks when she gives off those signs of femininity and estrogen. Speaking from a evolutionary psychological standpoint, we are attracted to women who show signs of estrogen. That's why you might be attracted to a woman with a big breasts or a tiny waist or a big butt or smooth skin or long hair. These are common signs of estrogen. You are attracted to that. So you obsess over a woman who is very attractive looking. So maybe you're obsessing over that one girl who's in your class, who's at your work, who you see, I don't know, every week at the grocery store because you're obsessed because of the way she looks and think about wanting to be with her. Maybe you obsess about having sex with her. Maybe you obsess about what it would like for her to be your girlfriend. And you go far down this deep path of obsession where you're like, I wonder what it'd be like for us to date and for us to fall in love and we meet each other's parents and we have babies. And it's like boom, boom, boom. It goes really far down the rabbit hole. I wonder if I'm speaking to any of you on such a level where you're like, wow, Trip is reading my mind. I do this. This is crazy. And I think that the obsession happens on such a more hardcore level when you actually know her. So she makes you feel good. She makes you feel good about yourself. So that could be a woman that you're in the friend zone with right now. It could be a woman that you're friends with. It could be a coworker. It could be a girl in your social circle, someone you see all the time. It could be someone in your classes or in school, but someone that you actually know. And of course, she makes you feel so good. She makes you feel so good. For whatever reason, she gives you the time of day. She's nice to you. Maybe she compliments you. Maybe she flirts with you. Although maybe you know that she's not interested. You're just landed in the friend zone, and then you become obsessed because you think maybe there's a shot. Maybe there's a shot that she could like you. Maybe that's possible. Maybe that's possible. And you fantasize about it. And hopefully you're listening to this podcast because you're realizing that it's unhealthy. I don't know if a lot of guys are necessarily in that yet. I think they're so absorbed by the obsession, they don't realize that it's unhealthy. Here's the deal. I think it comes down to this. If you're obsessing over someone, those are the reasons why. And also, you just don't have anything else going on in your life that's interesting. Really, you don't. You don't have an interesting enough life. You don't have other friends to be hanging out with. You don't have a career that you're trying to work on, or a project, or hobbies. Or you don't spend enough time with your family, or you don't spend enough time in spirituality. That could be anything from religion to Buddhism to even atheism, just, being alive and being in the moment, whatever your spiritual beliefs are. But what I'm getting at is there's nothing else in your life going on that's important to you because you're just so obsessed over this one person. Now, it's possible maybe you did have all those things and then this one woman came in your life and just messed it all up, messed it all up in your head. But let's not play victim here. That's not what I'm going down. Not going down that road, right? I'm not going down that road because we don't want to sit here and go, well, she did it. She teased me. She's the one who made me feel important and she led me on and yada, yada, yada. No. Okay. That's a very, very rare case. But even so, we don't play the victim because you can't be playing a victim if you allow yourself to be in that situation. We get angry because people have double-crossed us or done something to us or continually do things to us, and you're sitting here complaining about it, but you're allowing it to happen. You don't have to allow that to happen. If you're in a situation, for example, in a friend zone situation, where there's a girl that you're really interested in, and she's landed you in the friend zone, and you just think, maybe there's a shot I can get with her, I don't know, maybe it's possible, and you just stick around, that's you choosing to stick around. She doesn't have to like you. She doesn't have to like you at all. But you're waiting for it, you're obsessing over it, and you're sticking around. You should leave, you have to leave. You need to get out of there. And you need to be approaching other women. And again, if you don't know how to do that, you got a whole podcast here with over 300 episodes that teaches you how. And like I said earlier, if you need more hands-on help, coaching is available to you. So you have options here. But the first step is the awareness, which I think, again, you have because you're listening to this episode. And I just don't think you would really, unless you're listening to this casually because you listen to every episode, which is awesome. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I did not know this podcast was going to hit so hard. I am obsessing over this one woman. She looks beautiful. I want to mate with her. My genetics want her genetics to have a child. And I don't mean that literally, but in a sense where you're subconsciously thinking that because you're so attracted to her and this is how humans get together. She makes you feel good. But again, the bottom line is you don't have anything else going on in your life. And that's how I want you to stop obsessing over this person. Is you need to work on what's going on in your life. Your focus is on her and not enough on you. And of course, another way to stop obsessing is to understand what you're really doing here. You're putting a woman on a pedestal. And let me explain to you, and I don't think really people talk about this. I might be one of the first coaches to really explain this concept, okay? Not of putting a girl on a pedestal, but why we do it and why it's so dangerous. But I think that we put women on a pedestal because we lack something inside of us. But more importantly, what's happening here is so irrational. It's so irrational to put a woman on a pedestal because you're doing it in the most superficial way possible. You're only putting her on a pedestal because of her looks and how she makes you feel. That's it. You don't know what it's like to be having sex with her. You don't know what it's like. It can be terrible sex. You don't even know what it's like to be in a relationship with her. Again, this is not including women that you're putting on a pedestal who you're in a relationship with. But I just don't think that happens very often. I think once you're in a relationship with someone, that pedestal thing stops because, again, this is my point here, because you get to know them. You shouldn't be putting women on a pedestal because you don't know everything that's going on. Stop looking at the superficial reasons and start understanding that once you get together with a woman, you're going to see her for who she really is. I'm not saying you're going to find a shitty person, but most of the time, you're going to find a woman that you're actually not that attracted to begin with because you get to know her. Because that's just the odds of how relationships work. It doesn't work with every single person you get together with. With some people it does, with most people it doesn't. So what I'm saying is, how can you put a woman on a pedestal so far up, being like, wow, she's so amazing, when you don't really know her? When you haven't really dated her for weeks, months, even years. You don't know her. Stop pretending like you do. Again, give me some tough love here. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm trying to just really pound this idea in your head so you understand what's really happening here. You don't know her. And don't say that you do. And I can speak to this. The reason why I can speak to this is I've been in multiple long-term relationships. I know how this works. So you might not understand that yet as a person who hasn't been in relationships. You don't get it, but that's why I'm trying to give you this wisdom here. I've experienced this. Is that you get so obsessed over a girl, you really like her, and then you get into a relationship with her, and that obsession starts to die. Why? Because the mystery goes away. You find out who she really is. And that's good. You want that. You don't want to put her on a pedestal. You want to get her down to your level. She is not special because she is pretty and she makes you feel good. If anything, a woman is special and love occurs, like a real love, like the actual true love, not the infatuation love, when you really like a person for who they are and respect them. And you only really know that, my friend, when you've been dating and being with someone for a long time. Okay? And I mean like at an intimate level. I don't mean, oh, well, a guy listening, well, I know her really well. I've been friends with her for like 3 years. Yeah, but you've been friends with her. You haven't been intimate with her. I don't care how many deep conversations you have had. You don't have that actual intimacy, that passion, that sexual lust, right? Where you guys are getting intimate with each other. That brings the relationship between you two to a whole different level. And that's another really important way to get to know someone. It's not just about talking to them. It's about being sexual with them. It's about seeing all sides of them. So that's why I'm telling you that you can't be obsessed over someone just for the reasons of her looks and how she makes you feel. I hope I'm hammering this in because it's a shame of how much time you're wasting. Like you're sitting here obsessing over one person. There are millions available to you. You know, I can go and say the cliche that there are, 7 billion people in the world, but I know you don't have access to all those people, right? You live in a country where you don't have access to a billion people. You're not going to be traveling around the world meeting a billion people, but you do have actual access to, at the very least, tens of thousands, probably millions, because people live in places where there are multiple big cities around them, or they live in a big city. So you have actual access to millions of people, and you will never, ever, 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 ever meet that many women, ever, because you're going to die by the time you're at least 80, 90, 100 years old. It's not actually humanly possible. But my point is that isn't it amazing that you have access to all these women? That means that you have so much opportunity to meet someone who's going to be amazing, which means you don't have to obsess over one person just because she's pretty and makes you feel good and you think that you know her that well. I want to actually take this to a Charles Darwin quote that I found that just really hits home, and I think it's going to hopefully hit home for you too. Okay? So you can stop obsessing over someone and not waste any of your time. He says this: a man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Like, whoa. That's awesome. What a quote. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. So simple, so true. Because if you're wasting your time doing anything, and especially we're talking about in this case, obsessing over a girl, or just taking over your whole identity, everything, you're wasting your time. You're letting time fly by. Like I said a second ago, you will only live to a certain age. Hopefully. And I'm not trying to get dark here. I'm trying to really actually make this like a meaningful episode for you to realize, wow, I can actually have a life where I'm not obsessing. I can focus on other things so I don't have to waste time. What do you want to focus on? You want to focus on you. That's the big answer here. You want to focus on you, on your life, what you're doing, not what they're doing, what you're doing. And then you have this amazing life that you create with friends, with family, with hobbies, with career. And then you go, wow, my life's awesome. Now I want to share it with someone. I want to find someone who I can not obsess over, but like, love, respect, and of course, be attracted to, and share that life with someone. Let's combine awesome lives. Instead of the my life sucks, let's have a woman in it to make it whole. And if this is still difficult for you, if you find that you're still having a lot of trouble and you're obsessing over someone, it may be time to see a psychologist. And I highly recommend that, because if it is getting to a point where it's too much, it might be unhealthy. There might actually be something going on. Maybe it's from your childhood. Who knows what it could be from? Maybe it's an actual mental disorder, such as obsessive compulsive disorder. I don't speak to those things because I'm not a psychologist, but I can speak to some of the ideas. But if you want to get real help here and you think that it's to an unhealthy degree, I want you to see a therapist. So something to think about as you're going through your time here and your obsessions to whatever degree you're at. But you have lots of options, and hopefully some ideas on today's episode have helped. So if you are ready to get over the obsession by actually meeting other women and learning how to meet other women, I can help you with that, with coaching, one-on-one coaching, in person or over the phone. These options are available to you. Just go to coachedbytrip.com, apply today. Like I said, I read all the applications and I can help you out. And we can get you help as soon as possible and see if coaching is a good fit for you. Other options for you are getting the book Magnetic, and that book will also give you some guidance on how to meet women and do it at your own pace. So there you go. Good episode today. We went deep. Hopefully it helped. I'll see you on the next one.